KMUZ 88.5 FM. This is your host, DJ Rue, and I have in the studio with me tonight, excuse me, I have Doubt, local to Salem.
Yes.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Everything's good, man. How are you?
Good, we're good. It's been a while, huh?
It's been over a year, man.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
I think it was June last year that you guys stopped by.
It's probably not a good thing to say, because I've come and go when it comes to music, but this time around it's a little different. Things have fallen through, but I'm back now. We're gonna push it as much as we can.
Been busy.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. So tell the folks out there who may not know who you are. You're from Salem?
Yeah. Raised in Salem, raised in Oregon, Northwest.
So what are you about? Who is Doubt?
Who is Doubt?
How do you explain yourself?
I'm just a local artist, and like when I say that, I'm kind of hesitant because you get a lot of people that like try and get involved in the industry, and that are not. And I'm not one to point anybody out or say he's got talent, he doesn't. But you can listen and who's got more of a natural talent than others. And I'm hesitant to say local artist because a lot of people don't accept it very much around here. It's kind of like, oh, he's a local artist, he's probably not good. And I understand why. Like I said, I'm not one to point out fingers, but there's people out here that just like, your calling's probably somewhere else. But I am a local artist, hip hop and rap. I do, mix some R&B into my music. Typically not. And yeah, just come and go. Maybe some. For now, we're in Oregon, raised here, so we'll see where this music takes us.
So what made you want to get into this business?
What made me get into the business? I didn't have. I was talking to you earlier about it. I didn't have the best childhood as I was younger. When I was younger, and I didn't have too much communication with either of my folks, and I was kind of an outcast too in school for a while. So, like, the only way for me to express and get some of my emotions and thoughts out on the paper or out on something to relieve some of that stress is through music. So that's what got me into it. And yeah, I started writing and started recording, bought my first mic, and people just liked it, so I kind of stuck with it. And now I'm looking to do something with it.
You mentioned writing your emotions down. This first song we're gonna play is very similar to that.
Yeah.
Called Mrs. Spencer.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that song? What's the story behind it?
Well, Mr. Spencer, and I get a lot of people that have asked me, they're like, oh, Mr. Spencer, why that? Like, out of everything. I like to see it as in, when I first started Doubt, the reason I picked it up was because, I tell people, hey, I do music, and they'd be like, well, what do you go by? Making fun of you, and they never believed it, so I kind of stuck as Doubt. But to every person, it's not just one side to them. Everybody's got the crazy side, the fun side, the serious side, and Mr. Spencer is kind of like that quirky kind of outcast, more expressive about how he feels, kind of looks at reality, and kind of that I told you, not too much communication with my parents growing up, and that's him. And that's this first song is more of a therapy self-therapy session, talking about growing up and some of the issues I had to work out and some of the things I had to go through.
Who are these what's up with the security guards around you?
It's just for any when you have a goal.
Do they got names?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. When you have a goal, you gotta have a team. You can't do everything on your own. And this is basically my team. This is Power Circle. I got Cristino here, I got Alex here, and I got Javier over there doing the video. It's basically the little team that I got going on. To get this moving.
And I got Carla back here. Taking some pictures.
See. So even you got your Power Circle there.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So that last song we just played led into For the Love of Money.
Yeah.
What's up with you got a love for money, or?
Well, For the Love of Money,
like.
All
do, huh?
Before I get into that, I just want to clarify. This it is an EP, but I didn't structure it as an EP in the sense of I called it an EP because I feel everything on this project should be in an album. Just because it's it took me a long time to get together both my thoughts and the recording and mixing and everything. And something that I put so much time into and so much effort into should definitely be considered in either an album or short album, and that's what an EP is, So
Right.
it's not structured like an EP, but I call it an EP just because of the quality of of the songs. But that song, For the Love of Money, like if you listen to it, the lyrics are talking about trying to make a dream come true, in and out of different states. I've been to Seattle, I've been to Los Angeles, trying to get connected to the right people. At some point, I had a deal kind of stretched out in Seattle. And unfortunately, that did fall through. Talk a little bit about that. It also talks about, when you start traveling, you start meeting different kinds of people. And, when I was out in Seattle, I met someone specifically. It's a little bit about that story and, meeting, of course, women. And, talking a little bit more about that and just kind of up and down the interstate.
And you're in L.A. recently as well.
Yes.
How long were you out there?
I was only out there actually for 3 days, which I know a lot of people's like, that's crazy. Why would you travel out there for 3 days?
We were there for 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days?
5 days?
5 days, man.
It was 4 days maybe.
3 days went quick.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe it was like 5 days. I can't remember right then. But I know we weren't out there as long as I would have liked, But yeah, we were out there. We recorded a couple tracks. Fortunately, I didn't release all of the tracks that I did down there because I wasn't content with them, and I'm not the type of artist to release something half done. So if it's not done, if I don't like it, it's just not getting released.
You mentioned trying to get connections and working with other people. Who are some of your influences?
Some of my influences, a lot of people don't expect it, but I got into hip hop through, early 2000s. I didn't get introduced into it until the early 2000s, and I started listening to Ja Rule and Ashanti when they were big. So, that's huge influence, just because how smooth they were with their songs. But from there, I kind of started looking back into what hip hop, the more gritty hip hop was, and honestly, I'm probably one of the few people out here on the West Coast that can say one of my biggest influences is Biggie Smalls. Just because of the way he carried himself, his flow, it was just smooth. Everything was smooth about him,
Right.
He didn't necessarily always rap about stuff that we could relate to, but it was just so smooth that you just had to listen to it. You wanted to be that guy, So probably one of my biggest influences, Biggie Smalls. Right now, I've really been vibing with Dom Kennedy, Currency. And just mellow dudes, That's I'm more into the smooth sounding hip hop.
So we got another song of yours coming up here. This is off your new EP.
Yeah.
This was called Baby.
Yeah. That's a little change of story.
Is this a dedication to anyone or?
Not necessarily a dedication. But it's actually almost right after I got back from California. I met someone here that was from California, and kind of just evolved into a song. She was here for a couple days. We hung out and everything. She went back, and we knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere, but we hung out and.
Oh, she was just visiting.
Yeah, and it was just kind of it kind of. Yeah, Christina right here say, singing the Sprung song. I don't necessarily want to say that, but it was somewhere along those lines, and I just felt I had to write a song about it. It was cool.
Before I forget,
yeah,
the album that's dropping tonight. Where is it going to be available for download?
SoundCloud.com/Doubt503 DOUBT 503, and that's exclusive too. So it's not going up anywhere else. So that's the only place to be able to download it.
What's the direction of this EP that you're releasing tonight?
Well, it's titled Square One, so what I'm doing really is taking it back to square one, taking it back to the drawing board. I got caught up in this whole trying to please people in the sense of what do I think people will like, and it took me out of my comfort zone, which is not necessarily always a bad thing, but in this sense it was. It took me out of just my writer zone and every other zone that got me started. Eventually, I even had some people telling me, hey, I feel like you're just doing music. Just do it now instead of just actually something that comes to you. And so what I did, it's one of the reasons I stayed away so long. I needed to get in touch with myself again, get in touch with what originally started me. and that's the direction of the EP is that square one, taking it back to the drawing board, you know, taking it back to what I started with, what people originally liked, and just what everybody enjoyed listening to. So that's what it is, taking it back. It's talking about, you know, how I grew up. It's talking about that experience with the girl I met up here, but that was from California. It's talking about, you know, at the same time, like, this other side of me that a lot of people don't know. It's kind of crazier side, and some of the songs on there, like one titled Black and another one titled Walk On By. Like, all these songs are me, like truly me, and you know,
Right.
I took it to a drawing board, dissected everything, and this is what is truly me. I took out what wasn't
You
needed.
just kept it simple. And
Exactly.
Simplification is the best way a lot of times.
That's what I found.
What inspires you to write these lyrics, or what inspires certain lyrics that you write?
Really just life experiences, you know, like the For the Love of Money song. You know, traveling up and down I-5 from all the way from Seattle to Los Angeles and up here, you know. Just every life experience, you know, like the day before we left Seattle, we didn't get any sleep, you know. We stayed up the night before we went to Los Angeles, LA, we didn't get any sleep. We stayed up, you know. We finished some mixtapes to hand out there, you know. We met a lot of cool people, some weird people too, you know. But
In L.A., really?
you know, it's, you know, we accept them how it comes. This is kind of like Portland, you know. Keep Portland weird.
Yeah.
We're from here, so we can't really criticize on that. But you know, it's just life experiences, and sometimes it's just even music. Like, a lot of times we don't pay attention to the small things in life, and once you hear a song, you're like, oh, I can relate to that because of this.
Right.
And you're like, why didn't I write a song about that? Oh, I know. Let's just go ahead and write it now. So
What's one thing you can change about the world if you could?
one thing I could change about the world if I could, for people to be more accepting and more helpful to one another. I feel like there's not enough. I mean, we are in the land of opportunity, but I feel there's not enough opportunity for certain people. You know, it's in the sense of, I don't think there's enough educational opportunity, like financially. You know, I personally, and I say it out of personal reference, it's kind of like, I wanted to go to school. I got accepted to U of O, which is, you know, one of the top business schools in the country,
Right.
and couldn't afford it financially, and you know, I can't receive any financial aid, and so like certain things like that, you know. And then I see my parents struggle with, you know, day-to-day situations, and you're like, you know, you just wish there was more opportunity, equal opportunity for everybody, because there's just not enough of it.
All right, one last serious question for you.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, if it's not within the music industry, somewhere in the business world. It's either or. Kind of trying to balance things out right now. Working just as hard as on one side as I am on the other. So within the next 10 years, I see myself being successful, preferably in the music, if not within business. Mr. Spencer?